Good afternoon, learners. You're welcome to class this week. This week, we are going to be talking on excretory system part 2. Remember, last week we talked about excretory system part 1, and I remain your biology tutor, Mrs. Jane Okulu. Now, at the end of the class, you're expected to be able to describe excretion in mammals, describe the structure of the kidney, and also you should be able to explain how urine is being formed. Now, let's take a look at excretion in mammals. There are four types of excretory organs used by mammals for excretion. Number one, we have the lungs, we have the kidney, we have the liver, and we also have the skin. The lungs excrete water vapor and carbon dioxide. Then the liver excretes bilirubin, which is derived from the breakdown of hemoglobin. Then the skin excretes water, it excretes salts and urea through sweat. Then the kidney helps to excrete water, mineral salts, urea, uric acid, creatinine, and the likes. But in all, the kidney is the major excretory organ in man. Now let's take a look at the kidney itself. The human kidney is being shaped, and it is reddish in color, and it is located at the posterior end of the abdomen. It is a very vital organ involved in the filtration of blood, regulation of fluid, and electrolyte balance. It is a paired organ with one kidney located on each side of the body, typically positioned at the lower back, just below the ribs. You can see the structure of the kidney on your screen. Now, the kidney has key structures. We have the kidney has the renal cortex. You can see it on the screen, on the diagram, the cortex, and the cortex is the outer layer of the skin, of the kidney, and it contains the glomeruli and the proximal and the distal convoluted tubules of the nephron. Then we also have the renal medulla. The renal medulla is the inner layer which has a cone-shaped renal pyramid housing the loop of the end and collecting ducts of the nephron. Also, we have the renal pelvis. And the renal pelvis is a funnel shaped area that helps to collect urine from the collecting ducts and direct it to the ureter for transport to the bladder. And lastly, we have the nephron. The nephron, which is the basic structural and functional unit of a kidney. And this nephron is solely responsible for filtration, for reabsorption, and for hormonal secretion. And each kidney has millions of nephrons. They have millions of nephrons. Now, let's take a look at the urinary tubule, which is the nephron itself. The urinary tubule, they are part of the nephron and they play a crucial role in filtering the blood and forming the urine. The main components of the urinary tubules are the proximal convoluted tubule, the Henle's loop, the distal convoluted tubule, and the collecting ducts. You can see a diagram on your screen. It has the proximal convoluted tubule, the PCT, the Henle's loop, the distal, and the collecting ducts. Now, let us take a look at how the urine is being formed. The process of urine formation involves three major steps. The first one is ultrafiltration. The second one is selective reabsorption. And the third one is what we call the hormonal secretion. Now, let's take a look at what ultrafiltration means. When we talk of ultrafiltration, blood enters the nephron via the afferent arteriole. When we did respiratory system, you know what circulatory system now, you know what the arteriole means. So the blood enters into the nephron through the afferent arteriole, which branches into a capillary network called the glomerulus. Then the glomerulus acts as a filter. You can see it on your screen. It acts as a filter which helps to allow small molecules like water, like the glucose, urea, and salt to pass into the Bowman's capsule. And the Bowman capsule is looking like a cup structure. Is a cup structure surrounding it. Then larger molecules like the proteins and blood cells, they remain in the bloodstream. The liquid then enters into the Bowman's capsule. The liquid is called the glomerular filtrate. The process of ultrafiltration just helps to filter all this waste from the blood into the Bowman's capsule. Now, the second stage, which is the selective reabsorption. During the selective reabsorption, the fluid in the capsule or the glomerular filtrate, they now flows down the tubule. Don't forget the fluids, they are collected in the Bowman's capsule. Now, when they are collected in the Bowman capsule, they flows down the tubule. Then at the proximal convoluted tubule and the Ellis loop, some water, sugar, amino acids, and salts, which are still useful, they are reabsorbed into the blood capillaries. Let me explain that again. I said some of the substances that are still useful, like your amino acids, like your salts, like your sugar, like water, they are selected, they are reabsorbed back into the blood through against concentration gradient. That's active transports. Now, this process of reabsorbing these useful substances is what we call the selective reabsorption. Then the third one, which is the hormonal secretion, as soon as all these substances are reabsorbed, the other ones flow down the tubules. Then the fluid in the tubule become more concentrated. It become more concentrated as they flow through the distal convoluted tubule. And in the distal convoluted tubule, we have an hormone there which we call the ADH, antidiuretic hormone. What is the work of this hormone? The hormone simply helps to reabsorb water because the fluid there is too concentrated. So more water is being reabsorbed into the tubule. Then the urine gradually trickle, and that's how urine is being formed. More water will be absorbed because the fluid there is already over concentrated. So the process of reabsorbing more water is what makes the urine to be formed. Then the urine gradually trickles into the renal pelvis, and it is propelled by peristalsis movement through the ureter into the urinary bladder. When the bladder is full, it contracts and discharges the urine via the urethra. I hope you understand that. Now you have few assignments here. You will describe the excretory system of mammals. You write short notes on the kidney and the urinary tubules. Then you will describe using clear terms, your own words. You describe how urine is being formed, right from the ultrafiltration to the hormonal secretion. Then, in case of any question, just direct all your questions to my mail, jane.ukulu@greenland.org. I'll be available to answer all your questions. Until then, thank you for listening. I'll see you in our next class. Do have a blessed day. Bye.